Hello and welcome to another fun-filled nonsense retrospective. I'm your host as always, Rick, and joining me equals always he is Devon.
You know, I really wanted to start with a banger of a Baldur's Gate quote, but can't really think of one.
Jude, the only one I can think of from this segment is, it was a beautiful webbing.
Yeah, that's
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, today we're talking about Baldur's Gate again. It's been quite a while. We're going to be talking about the first bit of Act 3. We're going to be talking about essentially Rivington and just generally everything before you get into Baldur's Gate proper.
Yeah, so mentally, as far as notes go, I've pretty much stopped myself at the Gortash crowning segment. So maybe we talk about that, and then that would be the end of it. Does that make sense? Does that seem right to you?
Yeah, essentially. For me, where I stop is clicking the button to enter Lower City.
Right, yeah, so pretty much the same place.
Little caveat, I've not really prepared anything about the things that you have to come back here to do after you've been in the main city.
Oh, fuck no, I assume that's coming in the next part anyway as well.
Yeah. But before we get too far into details like that, we're going to start with a good old time-honored tradition of the nonsense, asinine hypotheticals. And what have you got for me today?
I've got a fun one because I know your answer's going to be interesting.
Okie dokie, let's go.
So it's a bit derivative of another question that I asked in the past. So you remember when I asked you what one thing would you add to Baldur's Gate? Or maybe that was something you asked me. It's one of those where we've asked variants of this question before.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be a bit more specific. You have to add a subclass to one of the existing classes in game. Which subclass will you add?
Oh, probably Horizon Walker Ranger.
The fuck is that?
So, you know how Deadpool gets to teleport around whenever he hits things sometimes because of that teleporter that he stole that's broken?
Okay, just to be sure, this is an official subclass and not homebrew, right?
Oh, no, it came in the same book as Gloomstalker, so there's precedent for it. It's in Xanathar's.
I have to ask, because even some of the official fucking subclasses are wild.
Oh, yeah, like Echo Knight. It's one of the most banned subclasses is Echo Knights, where you're just like, you've got a clone, you can swap places with your clone. Yeah, I think it's bent, so... Yeah. It's basically the class that made me play Ranger, the class that made me interested for Ranger, and it's got little planar things that it can do. It can search for like portals to other zones usually, but that's less of a thing in Baldur's Gate because, you know, if there is a portal to a place, you find it because it's part of a quest.
Yeah.
But like you might get some like individual class dialogues like you do with other ones, but like for, you know, when Halsin's talking about the bit in the Shadowfell and when you actually go into the Shadowfell in Act 2 and the Feywild and all that, so you might have knowledge of those beyond what you get told as a player.
Yeah, fair enough. What would it bring to the table combat-wise? Because while we both like Baldur's Gate, there's not a lot of survivability in the game. I don't know if they're going to add like something down the line maybe, which like adds a survival mode, but you know, Rangers in particular get hit hard by this because Rangers, a bit like Druids, but Druids have always got the Moon Druid if you just want a big fuck-off combat class of, they are more about the survivability and roleplay elements rather than the actual combat, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think what they get is, level 3, they add force damage to their attacks.
Okay, that's nice off the bat.
Yeah, straight away. Like, you basically put your weapons through a miniature portal to another dimension and they become force instead of physical. Level 11 is the big one where they teleport 15 feet after every attack if they want to.
Yeah, that's nice. That's very nice. Mini Misty Step after every attack. Yes, please.
Yes. So when I played it with a dual wielder.
So you were proper fucking broken then.
Yeah, I was proper Deadpool with that, yeah. But it actually works way better just for an archer, so you can just like shoot and then ping to another sniping position.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget what the level 7 one is, but I know that there is a defensive one where they just gain some resistance as a reaction, as basically they just phase slightly out. So that would be their survival thing. I don't know what level they get that at. Maybe it might be brought forward because the finding portals thing is less relevant in BG3.
Man, I'm just thinking on the tabletop as a DM how much I'd be a dick to the player who picked that because I don't like the abilities.
And one of the class spells that they get, subclass spells, is haste, which is something that Rangers basically never get, which I like haste.
I also like haste. I like having haste on a wizard though, and having it cast on the fighter as opposed to using it as a... I don't even know if Eldritch Knight gets it. I assume they do.
They can do, yeah, because it's a wizard spell. EK can get any wizard spell.
Yeah. Here's the thing. When I do Eldritch Knight, I have one gimmick, and that is all of my spell slots are now shield. I'm not a very... I'm a simple man. I pick a technique and I stick to it.
Yeah. EK might not even get haste in the levels that BG3 has.
I also don't think so, because I think it's a level 3 spell, which they might get... I don't think they even get one spell, do they, at level 3?
No, I think that's level 13. So yeah, they literally just miss out on having it.
Oh, well.
So yeah, mine is the Horizon Walker Ranger. How about you? What's your subclass, and what do you think it adds to the game?
Well, recently, while doing other things, I've been listening to... there's a YouTube channel called D&D Shorts. I really like the guy's voice, and he's very entertaining. And he mentioned top class subclasses to be that are most commonly banned on the tabletop. And this one isn't banned because it's busted. It's banned because the DM doesn't want to put up with it.
Oh,
the Shepherd Druid.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, when he said that, I was like, why? What could it possibly? Oh yeah. No, I'd be like, no, you can't do that because
you make Infinity Men.
But it's not even the Infinity Men. It's the fact like we play on a virtual tabletop, which makes it a bit easier. Let's not beat around the bush on that front. But I don't want to have to keep track of 20 fucking tokens just for your party.
Yeah.
However, in Baldur's Gate 3, I would love to break the fucking turn economy with infinite sheep.
Yep. Well, it's like how you do it with Necromancer in BG3, but Necromancer was in the player's handbook, so they just let it slide.
Yeah. Personally, I prefer summoning elementals because they're less hassle to keep track of.
One powerful guy is generally a lot better than a million cows.
Yeah. Except on the tabletop where action economy is king.
Yeah, and the cow, as long as it moves 20 feet or more, it gets another 2d6. It doesn't say which direction, so there's always the cow carpet bomb.
Well, we won't get into that, but yeah, if I like, it is basically taking the Spore Druid's gimmick in BG3 and just reflavouring it, so I don't see it as too big of a deal. I just want my army of cats, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think those were both interesting options. Granted, yours was a bit more out there because I'd never fucking heard of it.
Yep.
But you also know more about D&D about me. I've never beaten around the bush about that fact. It's just true. So, do you have a question for me?
Yeah, my one for you is a little bit less thematic. It's you get one of Superman's powers, but not any of the required secondary powers. What do you pick?
Probably flight.
Sure.
Like, laser beam eyes are okay, and ice breath could have uses, but flight means I could just fly anywhere on my own. I assume if I get the flight, I also get the ability to not die while flying. That's
the thing, like, required secondary powers usually says, like, no to things like that, but, like, yeah, you'd probably be able to survive while flying. Like, I'm assuming that it's within reason, so, like, if you fly up to the stratosphere, you still freeze.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, fly like an airplane level.
Yeah, so, like, if you go above the cloud level, you're not going to have a good time, but if you're at helicopter level, you're probably fine.
In which case, flight sucks, I don't want it. No, I'll take super strength then.
Sure.
Because, if you can't fly to the degree of an aeroplane, flight is fucking worthless.
Yeah, totally.
Like, it could fuck off. What about you? You've had more chance to think about this than I have.
Yeah, I took the general invincibility that he has. Just, like, durability, unbreakable skin, all that. Isn't Luke Cage just an entire superhero based around one of Superman's powers, the durability?
Well, sort of, because Luke Cage is still, like, strong as shit. Like, don't get me wrong, he won't be able to go toe-to-toe with Captain America, but he kind of... It's one of those weird ones, isn't it? That's a bad way of wording it. He's not as strong as Captain America, as in physically strong, but he can go toe-to-toe with Captain America because he's not going to feel any of Captain America's punches.
Yeah.
It's such a weird fucking power set, you're right. But yeah, he's cool. He's basically bulletproof, which...
Yep.
Not even bulletproof, just like proof.
Yeah, he's unbreakable. Yeah, the unbreakable man.
And yet he's a street level hero, so make of that what you will.
Yeah, it's because he... no one thinks to load him into a cannon and fire him at something.
Okay. I don't get the point you're making. Let's move on.
Fair enough. But yeah, mine's the unbreakability, the invincibility, general health. But yes, we're going to talk about Baldur's Gate 3, Part 3, Part 1. You arrive at the outskirts of Rivington, and there's a couple of ways you can go. You can just keep exploring, or you can go straight into the carnival, which is what I always do.
Ever since every playthrough apart from my first playthrough, that has been the case. That being said, the very first thing that happens when you enter is I've forgotten the little girl's name. I'm afraid it's on the tip of my tongue.
Yenna.
Yeah, you get to talk to her, and you've got a few options of dealing with her. As my good guy, I was obviously like, here's some money, because, go eat something, you will die.
Yeah.
And the other is, my dark urge was just comic. Here's the thing, I saw someone long after the fact post their dark urge, and they did the same thing I did, and that was they named them Biggest Dickus. Because the reason I named mine Biggest Dickus is I needed to remind myself not to take it so fucking seriously, because so many of the options are just so evil I didn't want to do them. But that's the point, so let's do it.
Yep, the comically evil.
Yeah. and with him, it was just like, go away. It's like, but I won't. Go away.
I mean, that's the nicest the Dark Urge has ever been, really, isn't it?
I suppose. Yeah, it's one of those where, interestingly enough with this dialogue, Astarion approves no matter what option you pick.
Yeah. Like, he seems to have a soft spot for Yenna, but also thinks it's funny when you tell her to fuck off.
It's a bit reminiscent of all the way back in Act 1, where I can't remember the exact circumstances to get the dialogue. In fact, so much so, I've only seen this on YouTube, where you talk to one of the tieflings and they say, there are hundreds of goblins we have to deal with, and Astarion just throws a proper bitch fit of going, oh, that's going to take hours. We should just leave.
It's going to take hours. Yeah. Some of the other things you can do early on, like I picked up Yenna. I always liked having her along. It is a bit on the nose that we get told, oh yeah, here's Orange, she's a shapeshifter, she has red hair, and then you meet Yenna, and she's in a very extremely contrived and convenient place to meet her, and she also has red hair, and like I think everyone was like, this is Orange, she's fucking with us.
Orange doesn't have red hair.
Does she not?
No, it's like really dirty blonde.
Oh yeah, it's the dirty blonde, ain't it?
Yeah.
It's the red skin I'm thinking of, like the
she doesn't even have red skin. That's just her armor.
Yeah, the red gore that she's got all over her skin, which now you can loot.
Yeah, and the item description for it is disgusting.
Yeah. Whenever I killed her before, that wasn't lootable, but since my save file got rolled back, I get to do it again.
Yeah, that's fair, man. That's fair. Yeah, because I was going to say, I was never once suspicious of Yenna. Even when that cutscene happened, I was like, this seems wrong on so many levels. And it also didn't help that the character doing it was a character I was like, I don't even think you would do this.
Yeah.
But I wasn't even thinking that the character with the knife to her throat was Orin. I was just like, this seems out of character for you.
Yeah.
Which, in my game, it was Lae'zel. And, like, I know some people like to be like, Lae'zel's super fucking... but by that point in the game, she's mellowed the fuck out.
Oh, yeah. Like, at that point, when I saw that scene and went back to manipulate my party so someone I was going to use wasn't the one that was kidnapped, Lae'zel's was... her joining thing was, is something troubling you? Like, and yeah, she'd really mellowed out. She was like a real friend by that point.
Yeah, man, it's something that bugs me, because even to this day, you get Reddit posts of, man, I fucking hate Lae'zel. And it's like, yeah, I get it. I get it a little bit. She's combative as fuck. However, she is fully within her rights.
It's so weird how Astarion gets a lot less hate for being a literal predator.
Well, he literally would have killed you.
Yeah. He has a knife to your throat and everything. Whereas Lae'zel, she's from a warrior race, and she wouldn't even be here if it weren't for, the circumstances. She wants to go home. She wants to get the thing removed. And as far as she knows, that's going to happen.
It's like, I wasn't even meant to come in today.
Yeah. And just because she's a little bit rude to you, people hate her.
Yeah, and it's so fucking annoying as well, because it's almost as if they ignore the fact that two of the characters... Right, here's the thing. Gale's nice to you. Gale is kind of using you a little bit, but not really. He's just kind of a chill dude. Will is just lawful good through and through, so he doesn't give a fuck. Karlach's a giant puppy. Shadowheart is actively fucking deceiving you.
Oh, yes. Like, actively deceiving you and actively evil.
Yeah, and Astarion is doing the exact same fucking thing. And if you romance him, he admits it.
Yeah.
But no, Lae'zel's the one who still gets all the shit. And yes, I know I'm a bit biased towards warrior women. This isn't what's at play here.
Yeah. We still both prefer Karlach, but yeah, lay off Lae'zel.
For fucking real.
Yeah. But yeah, other things you can do. There's the house with the fireworks.
Okay, this is what I was talking to you about, like, before we started the podcast, Rick. You fucking what?
So, if you go into there's a guy's house that's been squatted in.
Oh yeah, who do you pick? Who do you side with in this argument, Rick? As if it's a fucking choice.
Yeah, I side with the squatters. I even went so far as to knock the guy out. On one of my plays.
I never bothered doing that because he's easy to just make piss himself. I do like how you've got the option when dealing with the guild of just like, hey man, that was my mark, so you're gonna have to pay up. And your intimidation quote is just, listen, I just finished killing an avatar of Merkel. You ain't shit.
Yeah.
And the guild person just looks in your eyes and goes, oh, I don't think you're kidding. I'm just gonna leave.
Yeah. Yeah, for that guy, it kind of sets you on another like mini quest line of finding the other explosives and the other toys for the other refugees, but most of the time I just like skip that now.
I've never done it. I don't know. What do you mean toys?
Yeah, so there's a barn. So if when you're entering, like most of the stuff worth doing is on like the left kind of side, or basically straight forward. The barn is kind of like on the right. If you go in there, you have to trick your way in, because either you have to lie and say, I want to give my donation personally to the barn full of donations, or you lockpick your way in. Either way, you can't get in legitimately.
Oh yeah, I never went in there because every time I went close to the door, I got told off, and it was just like, those are donations, they're not for you. And I was like, okie dokie.
Okay, yeah, if you go inside, some of them are rigged to explode, and basically by doing exactly what they're trying to stop you from doing, i.e. going around and looting things, you uncover the explosives, and then you get to tell them, yeah, there we go, that was the explosives, and then they go, yeah, maybe we should investigate this. And yeah, it turns out it's all Gortash. He's trying to sow strife between refugees and citizens.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, of course, makes sense. Man, this is a weird one because we'll be jumping over a lot, but let's just talk about it. I fucking love Orin in this section. However, it's a bit depressing that once you learn after multiple playthroughs, you get free.
Yeah, and that's it. She replaces a fair few people during the beginning of Act 3, and the last one is the last one, obviously.
Yeah. It's always free. They're not random. It's like the first 3 you talk to, pretty much. They've all been fun.
Yeah. 4 if you count the party member.
Well, no, I don't, because that doesn't get revealed here.
Yeah. So there's the dying merc on the shore.
I didn't get that one, so that's cool.
Okay, so 4 then.
Well, no. I mean, there's more than 3 she can be, but she only ever does 3 of them.
Okay, yeah.
During a playthrough is what I mean.
I can think of the dying merc on the shore, the dryad who does the compatibility test.
Yeah, that one annoyed me the most.
Yeah. Because before that, it seemed like generally legit, because she does actually transport you to like a mind's eye thing, and then nah.
Well, I always make sure to trigger one of the other 3 other encounters before I do that now, because that means I get the real dryad.
Okay, yeah. There's a guy who's the weaponsmith, where the gold dragonborn is the receptionist, who's incredibly peppy, and I want to give her a pat on the head.
You see, that one's funny because Orin specifically turned into you when tying him up.
Yeah. So when you go release him, he's all pissed off at you. But yeah, I love that little gold Dragon Ball. Like downstairs, you want a spear? Buy a spear.
Apparently, you get a fun bit of dialogue if you're a Dragonborn as well.
Yeah. There's not a lot of Dragonborn specific dialogue at all. There's like that one, and I think later on there's a guard to a house who happens to be a Dragonborn.
Well, you know why, don't you?
Yeah, because they were added like last thing, so they weren't added to the early access Act 1.
Yeah, I was really, really surprised to hear that, because like Dragonborn is a base book race.
Yeah, but of the base book races, it's the one that takes the most effort to implement, because they've got a complete different skeleton to everyone else.
I get that, but come on.
Yeah. Although that said, talking of base different skeletons, the whole reason that you can have a buff woman is because of half orcs.
Okay.
Otherwise, it was going to be unique to Karlach. But yeah, where were we? We were on the Orin ones. Where's the... those are the three that I know about. Where's the other one?
Oh, well, there's a couple of other ones which I can remember off the top of my head. So to the left of the barn you were talking about, there's a Flaming Fist member. If you
Right, okay.
And yeah, when he talks to you, he tries really hard to make you go and attack the refugees. And when you say, "Man, that's fucked up," he turns into Orin, and it's like, "Oh, fuck you."
Yeah. Okay.
And the other one is, the interviewer just before you cross into Worm's World.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so she's like, "So what's your strategy?" And like one of the options is, "I don't think I should tell you that." And when you do, Orin calls you a bitch for it.
Yep.
It's so good. Oh, I love it. But those are the other two I can remember. And I'm sure there's probably a couple of others.
Yeah, the Merc down by the coast is on that little dog leg that you go on if you go and try and do the Stone Lord mercenaries bit.
Don't get me wrong. I've encountered him, but he's never turned into Orin because, again, you only get 3.
Yeah, so I thought it was always Orin, so the second time I encountered him, I just killed him.
I mean, he's scripted to die anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's scripted to die. He's just a dude. So, yeah, he wasn't Orin on that one, so he was just a dude. But oh well. Also, the first time I did it, I didn't do that leg until after I'd got Minsk.
First time I did that, I didn't know that place was a place, so I didn't know it existed.
Yeah, so all these people are basically mercenaries following the Stone Lord, and he's right there, and they don't acknowledge it in any way.
Okay. We're jumping forward a little bit, because it's technically in the city, but I gotta tell you, the first time I did it, there was an amusing bug that they got rid of, and that is fake Jaheira had clown face paint on.
Oh.
And I just thought Minsk was a really fucking idiot, and that's why she had clown face paint on, and he just didn't... No, it was a bug, but...
Yep.
Would that not be totally in character?
Yeah, it would, totally. Because he's already wormed and everything, so like it's not like they can't just control him. But yeah, they give him the fake Jaheira, and apparently that doppelganger gets like shit on by the other doppelgangers because he's got a really good job.
It's more that he gets really into it. There's a letter you can find, and it's basically like, "Hey, you're not really this person. Stop being a dick." And he's like, "No."
Yeah. Now on to my favourite part, the carnival.
I've never done this in particular, but I've seen the footage, and it's so funny, and it's a shame it doesn't happen more often. Warlocks.
Okay. So apparently, if you're a warlock and you're doing the clown, the clown bit, you get some unique dialogue, don't you?
Not even the clown bit. It's to get into the actual fair itself. If you've picked the Fey patron, you've got a piece of dialogue that crops up from the narrator saying, "Your patron wiggles about in your brain, screaming, 'We must play, we must play.'" Your patron really wants you to go to the carnival.
Yeah, I like that. That's cute.
It's such a shame, because I've never actually played a warlock, but from what I've been told, there's not a lot of like you know how you get a bunch of cleric dialogue, which, granted, it's not actually unique to each patron, or not patron, god. It's lawful gods and chaotic gods, and they get their own sets of unique interactions, and they're like a cleric of Selûne will have probably the same options as a cleric of Tyr.
Yeah, like I think the Selûne cleric is the unique one in that you've got a lot of interaction with Shadowheart in particular, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not counting that. I just mean in general story beats.
Yeah. I think there's only a couple of times when it's gone beyond that, and like I even got one time it said Oathbreaker of Vengeance on my Dark Urge, and it was basically, the statement was, "You don't even need to know what I had to do to become an Oathbreaker of Vengeance."
Yeah, fair. Man, speaking of paladins, wouldn't it have been nice to have a fucking conquest?
Yeah, I think Conquest is a much more lore-friendly way of doing Oathbreaker, but it's cool that they gave us Oathbreaker.
Well, I don't think replacing, I just mean they should have just had a Oath of Conquest, because I think that fits Minthara better than Vengeance.
Yeah, a starting evil one, although like, Vengeance works pretty well, but yeah, Conquest would have been way better for her in particular.
But yeah, the carnival. Why do we like the carnival? Well, number one, it feels like such a DM trick, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's so many fun things in there, like you're just expecting things to break out into a fight at any point, and at one point it does, but only really one point.
I mean, yeah. And it triggers a quest line that I've never bothered to finish.
No. Do you know what the reward for that is?
Oh, it can't be that fucking good.
You get a pair of gloves that give Magic the power attack thing, where it's -5 to hit and plus to damage.
I mean, that's okay. Not the best. I I don't think I'd even give that to Gale, though, because there's a better one for him.
Yeah, and the worst part about that is instead of giving plus 10 to damage like the power attack feats, it's plus d8.
Oh, so it's Bardic Inspiration for a -5.
Yeah, so it's a bit shit. But until recently, it was really bugged, and it would also work on things that don't have a roll to hit. So like Magic Missile comes like d4 plus d8.
Wait, for each d4?
Yes.
Wow, okay, yeah, no, I could see that being well, no, I can't see it being busted. That is busted. That's dirty.
Yeah. So like you combo it with like Thalar Aluv, and you have the thing where you do more sonic damage to things within like 30 feet. And yeah, you suddenly got like this Magic Missile turret that just murders everything in sight.
Certainly.
But you can pickpocket that reward rather than, doing the quest for it.
Jeez. See, one of the only... here's the thing, as I looked up after I'd beaten the game for the first time, the list of allies you can get for the final fight, and I saw that her name's not Luscious, but it's like Luscious.
Yeah, I think it's Lucretius or something.
Lucretius, yeah. That sounds more correct. I thought that she would join the final fight as a summonable ally, or she'd send in her dancing skeletons, and I went, that'd be cool. But no, so I was like, well, fuck this side quest. I'm not fucking looking for dribbles. I don't care.
Yeah, I've not actively looked for dribbles, but I have found quite a few of his bits.
I found like 3 bits, I think. One of them is just with the kobold in the fucking circus.
Yeah, it's just a hand on a table. Yeah.
And I think the torso is with a group of changelings in Rivington, so it's one of those where I'm sure it's not that difficult of a quest. I just can't be fucked.
Yeah. The kobold is a lot of people's favourite side character.
Fair.
He's got his when Dribbles gets when you kill fake Dribbles and he realizes that the real Dribbles is long dead, he goes, so the clown's dead. Oh well, have a treato.
I can't remember who it is. I think it feels like an Astarion line, but it might not be Astarion. But it's one of those where, for a second I thought we killed a real clown.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, that's such an Astarion thing to do. But I think also Minthara is also like top comedy in the clown scene.
She's such a straight man.
Like she whispers in your ears like, issue the word and I will kill the clown. And if you pick, I always pick her as my jokester.
I always put up someone who wants to go up. Usually, like Will is surprisingly willing. He acts like he's not, but he approves when you force him to go up.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Astarion, I've never forced him to because I don't like forcing Astarion to do things because it seems like one of his hang-ups, which understandably so. But there's that great one where when you go on Astarion, he just goes, I'm going to fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Except obviously it's Neil Newborn doing it, who is a much better voice actor than I am.
Yeah. Well, I'm not disparaging your voice acting, but yeah, it's he won best voice actor for a reason, and yeah, he's gonna fucking kill you.
But yeah, back to what I was saying earlier with this being such a DM's trick. This is something I would do in a campaign where it's like, okay, we've had 5 sessions, the party nearly died 3 times, and it's just been a real downer of a time. Oh, interdimensional circus.
Yep. Like, it's even something they put in books now and again.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, things have gone wrong for quite some time. You just lost one of your biggest NPCs. Yeah, let's have a party boat.
I mean, like, I've read forward, I'm about, I skim modules before I put them out, and then I reread chapters as I'm coming to them. In Curse of Strahd, there is straight up a chapter that's like, this is basically a big party chapter. It's still a downer, but it's technically a party.
Yeah. Yeah, so we get Dribbles who, you can send your party members up, and my favourite is Minthara by far on this one, because
tell them the one about the Dryden.
Yeah, she disapproves when you pick her, but then when she tells the joke, she approves, because I think she's so pleased with herself. Yeah, tell me the one about the Dryder who married a drow, and she just goes, it was a beautiful webbing.
It's just like, I don't know if I'm making this up in my mind's eye, but I swear she does like a little smirk when she does the punchline.
Yeah, like you can just see it though, like even if she doesn't, but yeah, it's something that you can just kind of, even if you don't see it, you can easily imagine it.
Yeah, the first time I did this, I sent Gale up there saying, oh, you're a fancy wizard, and he's like, I'd rather not, just fucking do the thing, Gale. And then he disapproved, and I was like, oops, but who cares? And I was immediately like, oh fuck, that was the wrong choice, when I realised he's immediately in melee range of 2 characters.
Yeah. But yeah, it turns out Will actually used to go and see Dribbles when he was a kid.
Oh, that makes sense.
Which is why he likes Dribbles. And yeah, Karlak is a teddy bear. And yeah, you get to fight a couple of things in here. There's the Displacer Beast.
Yeah, but if you got Speak with Animals, which I think a lot of people just try and take that if they can, because there's so much missable fun dialogue, you can work out her general plan, and you can just fuck up the lock to her cage. Which, I don't know why that stops a Displacer Beast.
Yeah. Neither do I, but oh well. Like, at that point, you might as well just bargain with the Displacer Beast.
That's what I thought I would be able to do, but
yeah.
No, she just hates, understandably so, but, what I'm like, I don't like the way animals are treated in real life, let alone fucking in video games.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can also talk to the Crimson Velociraptor, and turns out they've just not been feeding him, and that's why he's pissy.
Yeah. And, you get to fight those, and some of the other NPCs join in. Like, there's like a bugbear who's a guard. I think that's pretty much the only bugbear you meet in the entire game as well.
No, there's loads of bugbears.
Is there? Okay.
Well,
I missed them then.
There's the bugbear fucking yoga.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah,
and
my bad.
There are so many bugbears, granted they go away, there's so many bugbears in Act 1 that are just like, yeah, we need something a bit beefier than goblins just to make this a bit of a threat. And in Act 2, you've got that really important merchant that's a bugbear, with that dapper mustache.
Oh yeah, he is a bugbear. I thought he was a hobo. Yeah, he's a bugbear.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I wish you could be a bugbear in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that'd be powerful, wouldn't it? Like, you get you Wookiee arms that give you reach on everything.
Yeah, bugbears were broken.
Yeah. Yeah, they're daft. Like, the reason that you can't be one is because at this point in time, they're just classed as an evil race.
Yeah, that is one of the few
like
things. That is one of the few changes I'm glad they do make nowadays. That I think it was 5th edition that first said, okay, technically speaking, a lot of these lean towards evil, but that doesn't mean every single one is evil.
Yeah, it was even in Volo's Guide to Monsters where they give you like, here's like 9 new player races and 5 monster races. Have fun.
Because at the end of the day, that's what D&D is about.
Yeah, like you get like bugbear, orc, kobold, and yeah. They're just fun to have. Like, I don't think anyone dislikes having kobolds in parties.
I mean, shit, the amount of times players would adopt a kobold tells you all you need to know.
Yeah. Unfortunately, half the time they're pitted against goblins, and people just pick the kobolds because they think they're cuter.
Yeah, both in the west and the east.
Yep. But yeah, what else is there? There's the genie.
Yeah, I love this guy. So, I mean, he's a dick, don't get me wrong, but I absolutely adore the fact that, one, you can call him out on his shit and he just gives you another free spin as if that matters, and the magic items he gives are great. Like, I told you about one really early on because it's the one I got. It was the other hand of Vecna.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a table of them, and they're all just like fantastic DM non-magical magic item things.
Yeah.
Like the Ring of Attunement. You attune to it gives you an extra attunement slot.
Yeah. But yeah, I've read somewhere, I've never gone through the steps to do it, but apparently you can outwit him and get something really good off him, and then he sends you to another plane.
Oh yeah. So I do this every time. This is possibly my favorite weapon in Act 3. If you get his ring, which is a ring of Mage Hand, now you can only get it by pickpocketing, but when I did it, you could just open a trade window in a conversation with him, and buy it for like 24 gold. He still accuses you of cheating, like of pickpocketing and everything, but yeah, they removed the option to trade with him in recent patches.
Yeah, but also fuck him, because he's the biggest cheater of cheaters. It costs like 500 gold a spin, didn't it?
Yeah, but like for 500 gold, the Neuralna is like amazing. The first time I did it, I was unprepared, and he sent me to Chult, where I was beset by additional velociraptors, so it wasn't a unique velociraptor just used for that one cage. So that's where the rest of the velociraptors are. And if you get to where the portal is, there's a locked chest, which if you don't have the ability to pick it, just pick up the chest, and it's got a trident with returning, and
you should become Aquaman.
Yeah, you become Aquaman, and also it explodes into Sonic whenever you hit something.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh, sorry. Whenever you throw it, it explodes into Sonic. If you normally hit something, it just does Sonic damage, but if you throw it, it does like AoE Sonic as well.
Right, so it's a reusable fireball.
Yeah. It's like Trident Mjolnir. It's great.
Again, Aquaman. We did the reference.
Yeah, it's freaking awesome. And it's because of this that, like, I think Dragon Ball look really cool with tridents. So, yeah, Dragon Ball are now... tridents are now Dragon Ball weapons in my eyes.
Fair enough, but on the other hand, all I'm thinking of is, like, you need to be trained in Trident specifically to use them, and apart from what you just mentioned, which, again, I've never gone through the effort to get it, there is no decent Trident in the game, so it seemed like a waste of points.
Yeah, well, it's a martial weapon, so if you're changing martial weapons, you're fine.
Yeah, but that requires being a fighter.
Well, pretty much anything with D10 or higher.
Which requires being a fighter.
Yeah, fighter, pally, ranger, even warlock even.
Warlock.
Blade lock.
I was going to say, warlock doesn't... No.
Unlike half of clerics.
Well, whatever.
It's just a fantastic weapon to have, and the way that you throw it is just using the throw item command.
Yeah,
it's just
know how throwing works.
Yeah. And what else is there? There is the guy who makes a statue of you.
You say guy.
Okay, he's like an imp or something.
He's a mud mephit, and he's married to a proper stone elemental.
Yeah, between them they make the statue of you, and you can have it nude or clothed in whatever you're clothed in right now.
Oh, it's entirely the stone elemental that does the statue, and the mud mephit makes no secret about that fact.
Oh yeah. You add it to your camp if you pick one. I've never done one because it's a lot of money.
Oh, you should, because you get a permanent buff for it.
Do you? Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
I can't remember what the buff is off the top of my head, but it's worth it, because it's basically like you bask in your own magnificence, and but yeah, I always have a nude one done because I'm like that's how I be. But yeah, I did this once as a druid, and you get a special bit of dialogue complimenting the way they look, and the mud mephit just goes, "Oh, I love you, druid types."
Yeah,
you know just what to say.
That's pretty cute, yeah. And yeah, the Dryad with the compatibility test. I've only ever had it be Orin. I didn't know that you could exhaust Orins.
Yeah, so if you trigger Orin 3 times, that's it. That's all they do. I assume that's a purposeful design choice, but the amount of times it would happen to you if they didn't have it exhaust would be just tiresome.
Yeah. So I think the best 3 to pick are the Flaming Fist, because who gives a fuck about the Flaming Fist? The Merc on the Shore, and the Weapon Merchant, because at least the Weapon Merchant is okay.
Who cares?
But yeah, that's what I'm going to be rooting from now on.
That's fair.
But yeah, you get to do a little compatibility test with your chosen NPC, and the unfortunate thing is sometimes you're already locked out of romance with one, and you can still do really well on their test and just get platonic points.
That's fair. I on my most recent playthrough, I was well, not my most recent because that was Dirge. My most recent non-Dirge playthrough, which I've since deleted because I was like, I'm bored. I had Jaheira in my party, and I really liked Jaheira, and I was like, oh, let's see what she says. She fucking instantly turns you down. She is just like, oh, I guess they are pretty cute. Oh, I'm talking about the Dryad. You don't want to know what I think about you. And it's like, oh, fucking right in my heart. Ouch.
Oh, boy. Oh man! Oh, if you pick Minthara,
she's
one of the questions is who is the person that she respects the most, and one of the options is Dritz Duorden, and she's like, oh, spare me.
Yeah. So the reason why you know that, Rick, is because I told you about that ages ago.
Yeah.
I believe on the podcast.
Maybe so. Yeah, she don't like Dritz.
Yeah, most Drow don't.
No. So, yeah, other than that, I think that's pretty much it for the carnival.
I will just say, I do like the mummy.
Yeah?
Because you can use your investigation to determine what she's trying to say, and she's so happy when you know she's trying to sell her face paint.
Yeah. You can just buy face paint from her as well. I think you can buy the ability to become a clown from her, if you don't get the curse of the clown from pissing around with Dolly Dolly Dolly.
I don't know what that is.
Dolly 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 is the fairy from Act 2.
Oh, yeah, okay, sure. I didn't agitate her. I was just like, can you help me? And she was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, if you piss her off like 3 times, then she curses you with being a clown.
And is that removable?
Yeah, you can remove curse.
Or do you have to use a spell for it?
Yeah, like it's remove curse. Like you probably have it by this point. If you're not level 5 by this point, you've been playing the game wrong. And if you don't have Shadowheart, then you've really pissed her off. I think she can't leave until Act 3 anyway.
Well, you can kill her in Act 2, so that's wrong.
Oh, sure. You can't get rid of her until after the Gauntlet of Shar, I don't think.
I'll have to take your word for that. I've never tried.
Yeah, but yeah, she'll have remove curse available as a cleric.
I mean, if you cared that much, much you could just spend 200 gold, turn into a cleric for 5 seconds, and then turn back.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, hire a hireling.
Yeah.
Which, admittedly, I keep forgetting there's a thing.
Yeah, you can always fill up your party really early on with hirelings from Withers if you've somehow failed to populate the world with the NPCs. But yeah, what else is there on the road to the end? There is there's the meeting with the Harpers.
Oh yes, that's a bit further on. Let's rewind a little bit, because before that you've got a windmill, I want to say, with a mind flayer in it.
Oh, I've never done this one.
Oh, cool. So you go down and there's literally a mind flayer that was just born, and you can have a brief chat with him, or not. You can instantly attack him, which is what I tend to do. But yeah, you can have a chat with him, and if you talk with him, he's like, "I am so hungry. Bring me a brain." And I don't know what happens if you do that, because I'm always like, "You're a mind flayer and not the one I like, so you must die."
Yeah.
You can also,
and even the one you like, most people don't like him.
We'll get to that, because that's a proper discussion to have, because I don't mind him, but I've also not done a thing which apparently reveals something really shitty about him, so hopefully I would have done that by the time we get to it. But we'll get to that when we get to that. You can also find a strange ox again.
Yeah. This is how you essentially recruit him for the finale, isn't it?
Yeah, except I never did that, because on the one playthrough where I bothered to track him down in the third thing, I've since deleted and not finished.
Yeah.
But, like, he does seem to actually be true to his word in that he wants to be better.
Yeah. Like, as sus as he sounds, and as much as he does defend himself if you attack him, yeah, he does actually want to not do a lot of murder anymore.
I don't think you can have a go at someone for defending themselves when you attack them.
Oh, yeah, no.
But yeah, he is super sus, because if you get a really high insight roll really early on, you're just like, you get, like, visages of horror, and he just sort of taunts you about it, and it's just like, yeah, that is a weird fucking reaction to that, isn't it?
Yeah. It's you touch the mind of the cow, and it's just like, yeah, you just get this like jump scare of like a pile of corpses.
Yeah, isn't he like a Hecate or something?
I think he's an Oblex, which is it's a slime that impersonates things.
Sure.
And they make Oblex spawn, which are other slimes that impersonate things that will try and lure things back to the main body.
Okay.
So yeah, they're very good predators as slimes.
But yeah, he basically says he can't get in as an ox. Will you help him? And if you agree to help him, he'll turn into an apple, and he wants you to sneak him into the city, and that's pretty much what you do. I don't know where you go to actually let him out, but that's the crux of it.
Sure. Yeah, like at this point he's not even trying to pretend to you that he's not something supernatural.
Oh, at this point I don't think you can fail the test to find out that he's sus.
Yep.
But yeah, again, before we do the Harpers, you also get the first step to Shadowheart's finale, where you meet that dickhead.
Oh man, I forgot about that.
Yeah, although that being said, you want to talk to this guy without Shadowheart in your party first, because he's actually got some really nice items to buy.
Sure.
And after you've had the confrontation with Shadowheart, he fucks off.
Sure. Man, I don't think I've encountered that guy.
Have you never done Shadowheart shit? I mean, I suppose you could still do the House of Hope stuff without talking to him, but...
Yeah, you can still do that without talking to him. You just go there.
Okay. You talk to him, and the first thing he says is, "Oh, I've lost some silver. I didn't think you'd show your face."
Man. Yeah.
But yeah, he sells the... I think it's my favourite weapon thematically. I've never been able to use it, because I'm not a dwarf. But he sells the Dwarven Thrower.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is actually the Hammer of Thor.
Yes. The Hammer of Moradin. Yeah.
He also sells a really nice dagger. I think it's ice themed.
Sure.
So that's really good. I like to put that on Astarion. I've actually just pulled up a list of things he sells, because he's got some really nice goods. He sells the Nymph Cloak, which there are not many cloaks in the game, so I like fucking getting them when I can. It gives you a free cast of Dominate Person.
Ah, yeah, that is good.
And he sells the Robe of Supreme Defense. I believe it's a monk robe. Oh no, it's a wizard, the young wizard Bigby.
Oh, okay. So yeah, like Bigby of Bigby's hand.
Yeah. So the rare of the item goes exquisite focus. While concentrating, you add your spellcasting modifier to your saving throws and gain a +1 to your AC. So this is a wizard fucking robe.
Yeah. Bladesinger robe.
And the last one I'm going to mention is you can get Sephan, a rare great axe, which, there are not that many special great axes. So it's a very rare item. It's a +2 great axe. That's good on its own. It gives you access to Sephan Spiritual Great Axe, it gives you a free fucking cast of Spiritual Weapon for a Great Axe, level 6 version.
That's alright, actually, yeah.
Yeah, on a fucking... Put that on Karlach, that's all I'm saying. And you also get access to Reduce.
Okay.
Which, not as cool as the Great Weapon, but,
Yeah, if you need to sneak through a pipe, you can always use that.
I don't think Reduce reduces you that much.
You might need to be a small race already.
Possibly, yeah, no. For the pipes and stuff, usually you have to turn into a rat or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are what he sells. So if you want any of those, which I think you do, you need to speak to Ferg Droga before, without Shadowheart in your party. I think you also need to pass a test to prove you're sneaky, or a cutthroat, as it were. But yeah, right next to this guy is one of my favourite interactions. There's a mob of Baldurians who are like, get rid of these fucking refugees, and you can step in, and one of the options is, if you're Baldurian, is Baldurian, that's a Withington accent, that barely counts. And if you say that, the only party member to my knowledge who gets approval is Astarion, because he's a fucking snob.
yeah, and he's lived in Baldurgate for a long time. Yeah. So there's also the church.
Yeah. I don't know about you, Rick, but I just say fuck you to this quest every single time and cheat by casting Speak to Dead.
Yeah, like, I didn't even know there was another way to do it. Like, I just always do Speak with Dead because I've always got it.
Which begs the question, why is this not the first fucking step in every single murder investigation?
Because I think most investigators are just fighters and not, like, casters.
But should it not just be protocol? Fetch a cleric.
Yeah, like you're... it's like ultimate job security. It's just you're the one dead speaker for, like, the police force. Although I guess that would put a target on your head for someone who does want to do murders. But yeah, oh well.
Rick, the amount of scrolls of Talk to Dead that I have at this point in the game tells me you don't even need a cleric on staff.
Yeah, there's even an amulet that does it infinitely.
Which you get in the first part of the game.
Yeah, I think that's mostly because the developers were like, oh yeah, we put all these Speak with Dead things and we want you to engage with them.
I wish they did the same thing for Speak with Animals.
Yeah. I mean, at least with that, you can take a Warlock invocation for it.
Yeah, but why?
Or like if you know it as a wizard, you don't even have to prepare it. You can just ritual cast it.
Yeah, but Rick, I don't want to change character just to talk to the cat.
Yeah, but you like Gale. You bring Gale along.
But I don't want to change character to talk to the cat.
Yeah. That was really buggy, by the way. So Tara is here as well.
Oh, I've never done this.
Yeah, so Tara's on top of the roof of the church.
Oh, and is she killing pigeons or something?
Yeah, she's killing pigeons. That's also another quest. You can talk to a mailman who's been losing his letters because the pigeons carry the letters and Tara eats them all. And she keeps the letters in her nest.
So apparently this is an auto pass if you have Gale with you?
Yeah, it's an auto pass if you've got Gale with you. And although if you go straight for the nest, she bollocks you. She just goes, oh, Mr. Decarios.
It's one of those as well where it's like, why is this creature in Baldur's Gate and not in Waterdeep? You've kind of revealed this a little bit because you said that when you play as Origin Gale,
yeah, like she comes to find you and gives you a really good item to snack on. It's like a very rare that gives you the rogue's uncanny dodge.
Oh, that's really good. Why would you eat that?
Well, she doesn't know that it's good. She just knows that it's magic. And I think she just found the most magic thing that she could because she knows he needs to eat them. So yeah, she found the most magic thing she could, and it turned out to be a really good ring. So yeah, it's basically a thing of, yeah, you might want to keep this and eat something shit instead.
Yeah, like that amulet you get for saving Arabella.
Yeah.
Oh, I can cast light. Or is it dancing lights? It's something like that.
Yeah, I think, or colour spray or whatever, yeah.
It's not colour spray because that's actually useful, granted, not for long, but...
Oh yeah, that's the ring. The ring gives you colour spray. It's like you get the light amulet and the colour spray ring, more or less at the same time early on. Yeah, eat one of those. But yeah, she's on top of there. I've only ever gotten there by flying, but you can find a way up there because the other party members that don't have flying eventually path found their way up there. That's a standard thing for me. Like a lot of the time, because I take the tadpole at the end of Act 2 and get the superpowers, so I can just, my main character can just fly around anywhere.
Oh, fair enough.
And I also use this to bypass the steel watch.
What do you mean?
So not the first steel watch because that's basically a cutscene. But to get over the bridge, that you normally have to bribe a flaming fist for, if you just climb up onto a building near where you did the Harper's meeting, you can just fly onto the walkway beyond the bridge.
But I don't remember having to bribe that because I had a permit.
Did you have a permit? Okay, I didn't have a permit.
No, the first one you have to bribe. The second one you don't have to bribe. They will only let you through if you have a permit.
Okay, yeah, I just bypassed that.
I don't know, that's fair. That's fair. I was very confused because you're mentioning a bribe, but that's the first one. That's a cutscene. Which, let's talk about that, seeing as we're on it. Provided you saved them in the Underdark, you get the Iron Hands.
Yeah, they come and sabotage the Steel Watcher that you find, that investigates you. And let's be honest, someone at some point will have done a crime.
Yeah, apparently you get there is a slim possibility, and I don't know how anyone does it, where you are completely innocent and they don't try to detain you here.
Yeah, so I think if people have done like super speedrunning strats and not stolen anything at all, never trespassed, never lockpicked or whatever, you can just get examined and they go, okay, citizen, you're free to go.
Yeah, the actual problem isn't lockpicking and stealing. The problem is doing it in front of one of the seeing eyes throughout the game. However, there are so many encounters that are combat encounters that are technically crimes, and that's what triggers them as seeing you as a criminal. Like shit, just doing them in fire encounter sees you against one.
Yeah.
Some people might be screaming in the comments being like, you can just stealth kill them. Not when you play like I do.
Yeah, the seeing eyes are difficult to kill if you're not on like easy mode.
Like the only one I've been able to kill before having a physical encounter is, the one they ask you to kill in the Underdark if you decide to side the non-cult deep gnomes, not deep gnomes, Dwergar.
Yeah.
So what happens is if you walk in front of the eye, it goes, "Hello, what are you doing?" And you just walk away, and I just lead it to a side passage that no Dwergar ever is scripted to walk past, and then I shank it.
Yep. Yeah, it's apparently that is the way that you can avoid that, but yeah, it's bullshit. Like, no one's ever going to be able to get every single one of them without triggering getting seen at some point.
I mean, and they might even think of that while developing the game, because you have to kill 2 of them when saving the Iron Hands from Moonrise.
Yeah.
So like, it makes sense that if you saved the Iron Hand from Moonrise, you probably got seen by the eyes, but that's okay because the Iron Hands are scripted to save you.
Yes, and if it's not the Iron Hands, I think it's just a kid that comes by and like throws a balloon at it or whatever.
Yeah,
it's the Iron Hands.
As a Dark Urge, I didn't have the Iron Hands, and I had to fight this Steel Watcher and like 6 fire wardens. They're not called that. What are they called? Flaming Fist.
Yeah, Flaming Fist. Yeah.
And I just beasted them because my Dark Urge, despite having like line level 1 statistics, as I was trying to do that the hard way. Until you told me that there's a super easy way to get that achievement.
Yeah, you just hire a hireling. But yeah, sorry. Speaking of Dark Urge, one other thing I did was when I got sent to the Raptor lands in Chult, the first time that I wasn't prepared for it, the way I got round it was by turning the Dark Urge into the Slayer, because that was the only thing that had the stats to just withstand all of these frickin' Raptors in quick succession.
It's really interesting you mention that, because that's the reason why I was doing the level 1 in every class as a Dark Urge, because I knew you got the Slayer form, and the Slayer form doesn't give a fuck what your stats are.
Yeah. And if the Slayer form runs out, you can always go into Displacer Beast form if you've gone that far into Tadpoles.
Oh, well, I didn't.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, the Displacer Beast isn't as good as the Slayer, funnily enough.
No shit!
But yeah, I always just fly over the bridge instead of like engaging with that bit of content. I never get the pass.
You never solved the murders? Or, with the elephant lady?
I didn't solve them, but I progressed it.
Yeah.
And basically I was already past it by the time that I need to go into Baldur's Gate proper for more murder stuff. Basically, so I basically don't need to get a pass for that. So I'm assuming that's how you get in normally.
Yeah, so yeah, that's how I always get in, is I talk to her, and I've forgotten her name, I think it's Valerie, isn't it?
Yeah, Valeria or something.
Valeria, that sounds more correct. Yeah, you talk to her at the pub, and she's like, okay, maybe there is something to this. This explains why you don't like her, because you don't get her redemption route.
No, I don't.
Yeah, if you talk to her after giving her evidence, she's just like, oh shit, I guess I was wrong. Go into Baldur's Gate and solve this, and tell my colleague that's already working on it that she has double the reason to work on it.
Yep. So I got that statement, but I didn't get a benefit from it, like, because I already got into Baldur's Gate, essentially. So, yeah, I did progress it, and I did go further into the murders. But it was for me, and for the Orin quest line, rather than for, getting into the city.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still doing it for those other two reasons as well. It's just you just so happen to also get a gate pass while doing it.
Sure. But yeah, you don't really need it if you can fly and you can just press up and navigate to it.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, Iron Hands, you can talk to them, and Walbrun is straight up like, we're going to do genocide, and Barkus is like, please don't.
Yep. Barkus Root, once again proving how he is like the most reasonable guy in the universe.
Like, even if you take the bomb as a precaution, Barkus is just like, I get it, but could you please not use it?
Yeah. I still think my favourite statement of his is like early on if we meet again, we shall have met again.
Yeah, which is super reasonable because he doesn't fucking know you at that point.
No, it's great.
But yeah, he's super reasonable in that one instance. During that conversation, if you refuse to take the bomb, pretty much every party member disapproves, and it bothers me.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to cause a massive explosion in the middle of the city. I'm the bad guy.
Well, I mean, it would be a good thing to use to take down the Absolute if you got to it, but oh well.
I already have a bomb for that.
Yeah, it's Gale.
Yeah. I firmly believe if there was no other option, Gale would super be like, okay, there's no more other option, and we've got 5 seconds to sort this out. I'm gonna blow myself up, and it's like, alright, Gale, you're a real one for this. It's okay, Mystery will bring you back in 2 seconds.
She does as well. Yeah, Gale's like, it's been an honour, love you all. I didn't do this earlier, but here we go. Superman!
You get such a bad ending if you let him do it earlier in Moonrise.
You do. Like, all of Baldur's Gate turns into... Well, not all of Baldur's Gate. Like, a third of Baldur's Gate turns into Mind Flayers.
And the narrator tells you off.
Yeah. Basically, hope you had an autosave.
It feels very much like Gandalf with his hands on his hips. I suppose you think that was terribly clever.
Yep. Unfortunately, you were told in no uncertain terms to do this, so...
Yeah, by Elminster, who is claiming to have been told by Mistra. We know that's correct, but we don't at the time.
Yeah. But yeah, the Harper's meeting, the guy up top really likes you if you buy from his shop.
He does.
Because apparently none of the other Harpers actually fucking buy anything ever.
Dude, this feels like one of the realest characters ever, where he's like, I really want to help the cause, but fuck, I hate how skint they are.
Yeah.
And, like, he immediately changes his tune from grumpy dickhead to super supportive nice guy after he hears what happened downstairs.
Yeah. And that one guy, like, there's only one remaining real Harper, and you basically have to persuade him one way or the other, because Jaheira wants him to quit, and you get to persuade Jaheira to let him stay on as a Harper.
I will say, I've done this a few times. I've only as my... Oh, right, I didn't do it as Dirge. My playthrough that came just before Dirge, did I fail the insight check to get onto Jaheira's hidden meaning, which is so dumb, because she's being so fucking obvious about it, but whatever. But if you fail that insight check, which again has only happened once, you don't have the option to follow her lead, so you just say, Jaheira, why are you speaking so weird? And Jaheira's just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh yeah.
It's
or like the
so funny.
The code that he starts with as well. If we stand here with allies under Selûne's tears. Basically, yeah, we're not with allies right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, you have a fight. Everyone's a doppelganger.
I accidentally fucking shot that one. I can't remember what spell I used, but I sent them flying to oblivion. That was on the top row right by the window. It must have been an Eldritch Blast.
It could have been.
I can't think
There's a couple of things, like Thunderwave is the other one.
Yeah, but that requires getting close, and I wasn't close to them.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, which is why I'm thinking it must have been an Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, triple Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, because that's what you have at this level.
Yeah, level 11. And yeah, what else is there? There's the murderer's house that you can just go into and find the list of murders.
Well, it's not really a house, it's a room, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a room in an existing house.
Not in a house, it's in a tavern. Inn.
Oh, in the inn. Yeah, sorry. And yeah, you get to find the list of future murders, pick up the trail, and either take over from his list of murders or try to intercept the guy.
Yeah, this is the piece of evidence you need to convince Valyria to trust you.
Yeah, and the other one is Raphael. is in a pub.
He's not in a pub, is he?
Well, he's in a palatial suite in a pub.
It's not a pub. It's a whorehouse, Rick.
It's just a pub with extra steps.
It's not. It's way more. It's way more than a pub. This one's interesting, isn't it? Because obviously, if you do an evil route with Lae'zel, she doesn't know about Big Orpheus, so you don't get any of this.
Yeah, but Kithrak Voss is also there. He wants the Orphic Hammer because he's a pro Orpheus bro.
Yeah, some people online have read this as romantic, but I don't get that vibe.
I don't know. I didn't know about that interpretation until you just said. So
I'm just saying, man. I don't get that vibe. I get a bromance vibe, but at the same time, kind of don't care either way.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm just saying it's something that people have suggested on the interwebs, and I can't personally see it, but I also kind of don't mind if that is in fact the case.
Yeah, true. Voss is basically the pinnacle of Gith's society, and yet he has nothing that Raphael wants, so Raphael will never give him the hammer, or even lend it to him.
Yeah, but we actually see how much pride and joy the hammer is to him, so it makes sense.
True. It's a hammer that can break any chain.
And it's on proud display at the very centerpiece of his museum, of his wing, of his luxurious house, which we'll get to much, much later.
Yeah, much, much later. Like 2 episodes later.
No, I'd say 1 episode. This isn't main plot.
Yeah, next episode, I guess, yeah.
Well, maybe it is main plot. It kind of is, isn't it? Because you need... Yeah, okay, we'll do it. We'll decide on the fly. We don't know. It's not this episode. That's all that matters.
Yeah. I guess, just getting the hammer is just a freebie, but getting it the unconventional way is a side quest. So I always just choose to make the deal and then go to the house anyway to get out of the deal.
Yeah, so the thing about the deal is, and I know people are going to shit on me for this, and that's fine, it's not actually a bad deal. It's just people always have this hang up where, yeah, devils are going to try and screw you. There's no doubt about that. But Raphael knows you know that, so he lays out every single term that might screw you to be like, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to give you the hammer. You're going to let me take the crown. The only downside to this deal is it pisses off Gale.
Yeah, it pisses off Gale, and at some point in the future, Raphael is going to do something with the crown.
Yeah, but at the same time, I've got to be honest with you. He specifies in his deal that he's not going to use the crown against humanity.
Yeah, he's basically going to use it within the 9 hells.
And like Lae'zel makes the point if you turn him down, because you just go, do you really want Raphael to have the crown and become a fucking archdemon, or whatever the fuck the term is? And Lae'zel just goes, do you really think he's going to be any worse than Mephistopheles?
Yeah. Like, there are already archdevils.
Yeah.
Like, all it's going to be is, like, the changing of the guard if he becomes an archdevil. And even then, that just means he's going to be easier to take down because he ain't shit without the crown.
Yeah. But yeah, I tend to be like, yeah, I think the deal is not a bad one. It means you lose the crown, but the only person in your party who cares about the crown is Gale, which, granted, fucks him over.
It fucks him over a little bit, but even then, like, the reason he wants the crown is for his evil root anyway.
Not actually entirely true, because he wants the crown as well to give to Mystra. Because when he gives the... I've seen this epilogue. If he gives the crown up to Mystra, Mystra destroys it, but she also gets rid of the bomb.
Sure.
So it's one of those. It's a real... Gale does actually get screwed hard if he doesn't get access to the crown. If he has access to the crown for evil means, obviously we know he becomes a god.
Yeah, he becomes god, and Mystra's like, you stupid little shit. Like...
And
yes, you became a god, but I'm a better god, so go fuck yourself.
Yeah, Mystra's a better god, and Withers is a better god, because there's a cutscene in the end thing where if you start shit as Gale, Withers can just make him fuck off.
Yeah, Withers makes anyone fuck off, including God Gale.
Yeah. So it's just like, who gives a fuck, man? Like, you're a god, but you're a pretty shit... Like, it's literally Hulk, man, puny god. Yeah.
I'm assuming you don't get the Withers party if you do the in my name ending.
I don't know. I'm going to assume not, because you're evil and against his wishes. I know you don't get that in the Baal ending.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing, basically. It's just a case of whether it's in Baal's name or in my name.
Which is why it bothers me that it's 2 different achievements.
Yeah. Oh, well.
But yeah, it means I've got to play the game a 3rd time and be a dick.
For the sweet plat.
I'm not getting a platinum in this game. I'm not doing a fucking tactician run. I can't be arsed. Is it tactician?
Yeah, fair enough.
Tactician's the hard mode before honor mode came out, right?
Yeah. Like, it's not that hard.
No, I know, but I can't be arsed.
True.
Here's the thing. I don't actually care that much about Platinum games. If I can, I will. But I look at some achievements and I just go, I'm good.
Yeah, that feels you.
If anything, you want to do honor mode just for the gold dice.
Yeah. Man, the number of times I just lost honor mode really early on.
That's the point.
Yep. And it becomes less swingy the further on you go.
And it also becomes a lot more difficult the longer you leave it, because every patch has we've changed this into this honor mode boss fight to make it more difficult. Like the most recent one was not the bugbear, the hobgoblin in Act 1.
Yeah.
They gave him legendary actions.
Yeah, legendary actions is a big bonus to enemies, because before that they're just HP sacks.
Yeah. It's the reason why a lot of boss monsters get legendary actions in the actual tabletop game, because usually a boss monster will be on their own, and if they're on their own, they're going to get fucked by the action economy. That's no longer a problem with legendary actions.
Yeah. Like the way Pathfinder deals with it is they give things a very definitely a higher level, so you've got a lower chance to hit.
Well, there you go. But yeah, another thing I know they do is if you fight the owlbear now has an action in honor mode that lets it summon its mate, which means you now have to fight 2 owlbears.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So if you're doing honor mode and you don't want to deal with that, I've saved you some trouble.
Yeah. Just leave. Just leave the owlbear. Let it live. But yeah. What else is there to chat about around here?
I mean, we're still kind of on it, so let's get to it. Shres's Caress is the whorehouse.
It is.
I thought there'd be a bunch of interesting, weird scenes they'd do, but no, the only thing really here is the Drow twins.
Yeah, the Drow twins.
Which I've never done in my game because I don't care. I'm not polyamorous in real life, so I tend not to be in video games.
Yeah, true. Like, the closest thing I've done to the Drow twins in a game in recent memory is the threesome or foursome with Isabella in Dragon Age 1.
Oh, that doesn't count. It's like ordering a meal. She's just a side plate that comes with it. Thanks, Anders.
Oh, boy.
Well, that's what Anders says, isn't it? It's such a good line. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be mad at someone for sleeping with Isabella. Isabella sleeps with everyone. That's just who she is.
Yep. Apart from her crew.
Well, yeah, but that causes other issues.
Yeah, basically saying, if your crew has seen you face down, arse up, then it wreaks havoc with the respect that they should be giving you.
It's not even a respect thing either, because it's like if you do one, you got to do them all, and there could be like 30 people on a crew, and that's going to be one sore vagina.
Yeah. Like, Isabella is skilled, but I don't know if she's got that amount of stamina.
Like, the silver lining is she lives in a world with health poultices, so assumedly it's doable, but I still can't imagine it'll be much fun after the third dude.
Yeah. But yeah, the other thing in Shres's Caresses, there's like this couple that's about to get it on, and then when you walk in, one of them turns into a mind flayer.
Great! Do you get to save the other one?
Yes.
Oh.
She's traumatized.
Yeah, but at least you get to save them.
Yeah, you get to save the other one, but yeah, she's basically just lost what she thought was the love of her life to becoming a squid.
You know what? I genuinely believe that Orin must have been watching that one encounter, just giggling to herself as she's like, I'm going to wait for the perfect moment to ruin this.
Yeah. But yeah, rather than it turning into Orin, she just turns into a mind flayer, because apparently that's the most important thing to do right now, is kill you.
Risk of death included, would you chance it with Orin?
Probably.
I wouldn't, it's too risky, but like, she is weirdly attractive, but you know she'd stink of death.
Yeah. Well, she's the Harley Quinn of Baldur's Gate 3.
No, that's a bit of a that's really, really, really doing a disservice to Harley Quinn.
Yeah, fair enough. Pre-character development Harley Quinn, when she only cared about doing murders for Mr. J.
Whatever, that's a discussion for another day, and I don't think I could be asked to have it on a Baldur's Gate episode. Sure.
But I think that might be closing in on
we didn't actually
finale,
get into
so
the
Gortash.
Before that, we didn't actually discuss the encounter with the Thieves Guild and the Stone Lord. We mentioned it, but we didn't go into it.
Yeah, so the Stone Lord obviously isn't here right now, but you have like a little altercation on a boat, and you beat up some dudes, and basically I don't remember much about it other than the fact that they were talking about being Stone Lord lackeys when I had Minsk on my party.
Yeah, okay, so it's a secret dock. Basically, you're not on a ship, you're on land entirely. There's an encounter between the two groups. One's the Stone Lord gang, one is it's not the Thieves Guild, but it's the Thieves Guild. They basically say, yo, join us, we'll pay you, and the other side's like, we'll pay you too. And you got 3 options. You can join one side, you can join the other side, or you can say, can't we all get along? If you say can't we all get along, they call you a pussy and you have to fight everyone.
Yeah. But then you get paid by both of them, essentially, by picking it off their corpses. Isn't this also a boat where you can like do an insight check and there's just a bunch of tadpoles in barrels?
You don't need to do an insight check. You just see the boat and you go, oh, that's the same boat that was at Moonrise.
Yeah. So you get more tadpole specimens if you need to tunnel someone's brain.
Yeah, what a lovely mental image. But yeah, this fight's really easy, especially if you're an initiative hound like me, because I always make sure try and make Gale a really initiative boy, which is great, because a first turn Ice Storm on this is devastating.
Yeah. It's one of the problems with the way the initiative works in this, in that like my low dex guy never gets a 20 because it's only a d4.
It's so bothersome. I kind of understand why they limited it to a d4, but in encounters like especially the Moonrise one, where there's 30 dudes on screen and people are only rolling d4s, it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, because basically, if you've got low decks, you're always going last, which is not always the case on the regular game.
No. The
amount
of times in our games, Rick, where we've got someone with low decks who rolls stupidly high, and their immediate reaction is, I don't want to go first!
Yeah. Like for me, I've got like neg 1 decks in your game, and like the number of times I've just rolled 15s. Yeah.
Not just you rolling 15s, but other people just rolling shit.
Yeah. But yeah, Gortash.
Yeah, this one's interesting, isn't it? Because once you get into Wyrm Rock, you immediately get greeted by a Steel Watcher, and they're like, would you like to watch this ceremony? Before correcting themselves, you have to watch this ceremony.
Yeah, he gets direct intervention as necessary by Gortash, and you get just like immediately connected to him, and it's like, oh, come and watch my ceremony. It's mandatory.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, I immediately went, what the fuck, when I turned into this room, because Mazora's just standing outside.
Yeah. If you bring Karlach, you need to calm her down, otherwise she gets dragged off.
Wow, I had Karlach, and that didn't happen. So I must have calmed her down. It's been a minute.
Yeah, you need to calm her down, otherwise she gets dragged off. I think you can just immediately add her to the party again after you've done the ceremony. But yeah, it's also a decent way to get her out of the party for making the deal with Gortash, which, by the way, I believe breaks every Paladin oath.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Because every single Paladin oath is a good aligned oath, and more or less they all align with keeping the natural order to a certain degree, and having the Bane guy taking over is definitely counter to that.
Yeah. Annoyingly enough, it doesn't break Minthara's oath, because like this is something that she definitely approves of to begin with, and it's like it feels like she's got different tenets, but she also thinks that she's an oathbreaker when she's not.
Yeah.
Because she's never actually gone against the tenets of being an Avenger for Lolth.
Yeah.
She thinks that she's betrayed Lolth by becoming an absolutist, but actually all Lolth wants is for Drow to die.
Oh, fun. But yeah, like very specifically, her oath of vengeance can be considered being aimed against Orin, which means allying with Gortash is directly allying with her goal.
Yes.
Because Gortash outright states it, I'm gonna have to kill Orin at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows that. Like, the annoying thing about Gortash is he is actually the most reasonable of the three.
Yeah, he is. Like, if it weren't for the fact that, the plot, he'd actually be a reasonable guy to work with.
I mean, he is a reasonable guy to work with. The only reason it don't work out is because if you side with him and get him to the Elder Brain, the Elder Brain fucking murks him.
Yeah.
Which is disappointing, but whatever. I loved coming here as a Dark Urge because out of the three people who recognise you, Gortash is the one who just straight up says, welcome back, and he has a fucking killer line of, Orin I tolerate, you I liked.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because the original plan for this entire fuckery was between Dark Urge, Gortash, and Ketheric. Orin wasn't a factor.
Yeah.
In fact, it can be argued that Orin trying to usurp Dark Urge is the reason it all goes to shit.
Almost certainly. That's a double stab, because obviously Dark Urge gets put back together and is the one that brings everything to a head and manages to fuck everything up again, because, they're the player character.
Yeah. The confrontation between Dark Urge and Orin is actually quite satisfying. Partly because there is a call-out line where it's just like, you were never fucking gonna beat me.
Yeah.
You killed me and ripped out half my brain, and yet I lived, bitch.
Yep. Yeah, the rest of you is basically put together by the tadpole, just like knitted together and filled in the blanks. And it's actually that breaks your link directly to Baal.
Yeah, it's the reason why you can have a redemption.
Yeah, it's the reason that you're playable as a player character rather than just, being a puppet, more or less.
I will say I didn't bring it up during Act 1 because I hadn't done a Dark Urge back then, but when you get the memory mushroom and you eat it as a Dark Urge, I was upset.
Yeah, like everything that Sceleritas Fell says, that and more.
Yeah, the flashback you specifically get is you've just killed a baby, and it's like one of the options you can pick is delicious, and I'm like, oh no.
The other white meat.
No,
that's just an Austin Powers reference. Sorry,
I'm still disapproving of you. But yeah, anyway, the Dark Urge run is almost worth it just for the extra context you get with Gortash.
Yeah, and Duke Ravengard is here as well. He's the one that passes off the stewardship of Baldur's Gate to Gortash, and the Emperor can just give him a slight moment of clarity where he realizes, oh shit, and then he goes back to being a dick again.
That feels almost cruel.
Yeah.
Anyway, I didn't do that in my game, so.
Yeah, I brought Karlach and Will along to this, so yeah, you got the double whammy of that.
Yeah, I think we can bring it up a bit later on as well, but I will say, no, we'll bring it up later because that's when they have the proper dialogue. Ignore me, ignore the man behind the DM screen. But yeah, you can effectively. This is a funny part of the game, Rick, where you can just tell Gortash to fuck off with his deal, and he still acts as if the deal is happening.
Yeah, and then you can beeline for his bedroom, but the Steel Watch are in the way, so you're going to have a bit of an issue doing so.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't fight Gortash before disabling the Steel Guard. It looks like a miserable experience.
Yeah. It's even miserable without this Steel Watch, because he's got like all that artificer shit that just makes him damn near invincible.
Yeah, which, by the way, is another argument for why the fuck is Artificer not in the game.
Yeah, because Gortash clearly is one.
I will say, having done this boss fight, and we'll get to it later, I don't know how the fuck you get that achievement.
What's the achievement?
Beat Gortash without activating a single trap.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that. It looks impossible.
Yeah. Apparently, you can just lure him out and then throw him off a cliff.
But even then, in his room at the top, every other
there's all
turn,
those,
they just
grenade launchers.
Yeah, they just spit out a grenade. The grenade doesn't instantly go off, but it seems like the trap spitting out the grenade negates the achievement.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just saying. I'm sure there's probably an easy way, or I'm overthinking it. But it just looks impossible to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen people luring him out. I think it might actually be from the ceremony. Lure him out from the ceremony and toss him off a cliff.
Oh, fair enough.
And normally they get to do it with Karlach because that gives her a bit of catharsis.
Say that again for me.
They gives Karlach a bit of catharsis if she's the one to do it. But even then she's not happy about it because turns out it was all empty.
Yeah.
But oh well, that's more of a later episode bit.
Yeah, there was a thing I wanted to talk about with Karlach and Gortash, which is what I'd nixed earlier, because it's like, that's more relevant later, so we'll talk about it later. Cannot be understated, there is a heavy bias towards Karlach in my mind, because Karlach is love, Karlach is life.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I'm struggling to think of anything else we should address in Rivington. You might be able to get some camp events early in Withington, but none spring to mind. I think even the event where you got the other vampire spawn raiding the camp happens more likely inside Baldur's Gate itself.
I never even had that.
Okay, cool. If you got to take a lot of rests, and you've got to be resting outside, you can't be resting in the hotel. Did you ever do that, by the way?
No, I didn't actually.
You know the Elf Song Tavern that the Emperor directs you towards? Yeah, if you talk to the owner, you're just like, can we have a room for the night? And they're like, oh, nobody wants to stay here because there was a fucking murder. I think if people seeing other people stay here will encourage business. If you give me 200 gold, I'll let you have the entire floor. So you give him 200
Sweet.
Gold, and every time you do every time you go to camp, your camp is now inside the Elf Song Tavern.
That's kind of cool, actually.
It's a lot cooler than the fucking back roads, which is disgusting.
Yeah. The one where Minsky even says, oh yeah, Boo's been talking to the rats.
But yeah, there's one where if you take long enough, the other spawn, I think there's 4 of them, so it's not all of them. Specifically, the 4 of the 7 main ones that have the tattoo on their backs.
Yeah.
They encounter you, and Astarion tries to blag it, saying, leave us alone, and I'll free us from Cazador, while fully intending to take Cazador's place.
Yeah. Well, there's also the two of them actually outside in Rivington. In that, I think it's actually the same place where you get the murderers list.
Yeah, but I was never able to talk to them. I went up to them and they poofed and vanished in a puff of red smoke.
Yeah, for me, I went up to them with Astarion and they chatted to him, and he like is standing in the sunlight near the window, and they're like, "How the fuck are you doing that?" And he's like, "Come here, I'll show you." And then he pushes one of their faces into the sunlight, and they start to burn.
Fucking hell, vicious.
Yeah,
man,
yeah, he's not a nice man.
That's kind of interesting though, because that implies that despite the fact that Astarion's broken free, Cazador's still got his 6 main spawn out and about doing shit for him, because
yes,
4 of them attack you at night during a camp event, and 2 of them are in Rivington trying to hunt for more victims.
Yeah, until the ritual, they're out and about doing what he wants.
Which kind of makes sense, because Cazador has complete control over these fucks anyway. What the fuck are they going to do? Before the tadpole, Astarion was in the exact same position.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, we're here. I'm going to just mention it before we end up for the day. I will say, out of the 3 acts, Act 3 feels the weakest.
Kinda. It's a weird one. Like, I'd struggle to rank them.
Oh,
because
no,
I've done it.
Not at all. Completely opposite to me. But yeah, go on. Sorry.
Like, I've done Act 1 so often that it kind of devalues it in my mind. So that's kind of not fair to my judgment of Act 1.
Sure.
Act 2 feels like the end of the base game, and then Act 3 feels like a full-on expansion pack.
Yeah, Act 3 is weird because apart from the main plot, which in theory you could just beeline towards, but you really shouldn't. It feels like a lot of mini campaigns being played out.
I don't think that's bad though, because like I feel like there's more side content in Act 3, like by far, than there is in Act 2.
But I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, in my personal opinion, it's not my favourite. I would rather it be one big cohesive story, you know? There should be side content, but the side content doesn't feel like side content. It feels like its own campaign, but we're not getting to see the whole campaign because it's being littered throughout a different campaign.
Sure, yeah, it feels like you're like coming in at a tangent to someone else's game, dropping in for a couple of sessions and then leaving.
Yeah, pretty much, man. Like, Lae'zel gets a pass and Karlak gets a pass because their stories tie in with the main plot. Fuck, even Will's, and people hate Will for some reason.
Well, I think the reason people are not keen on Will is just that he doesn't have much development. Like, the one thing that he could choose to do at the end, like with Mizora to protect his father, he doesn't even make the choice himself. It has to be you that makes the choice for him. And that's something that really sticks in my throat.
No, I get you with that one. I get you. But, like, people seem to hate him as a character. Do you know what I mean? Which, the only reason you'd hate him as a character is because you're tired of lawful good, which I can understand, but you need a lawful good.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I fully agree with you on your other point. Like, it grinds my gears as well. Every single choice Will has, Will doesn't fucking make.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
Compare him to Shadowheart. She makes every choice. There's a point in her choices where she's like, you've got a choice to just say nothing and let things play out, or you can try and convince her, which you should not do. I
think I even said, like, if you try and convince her and fail, then she does it anyway.
Dude, the look on my face when I had a Selûne cleric, because I wanted to have that fun, dumb romance. I wish I was recording my face, because it was a proper fucking, because you got 2 Selûne options during the choice for Aelin. I picked one of those thinking this is going to be a really cool redemption moment, and then I'll tell you what face I pulled. It's Batman when fucking Superman put his fist through the Joker.
Yeah.
I was just like that because Shadowheart just speared Dame Aelin, and I was like, oh no, quick load.
Yeah, you can just do a regular persuade to make her not do it, which is possible. But if you fail that one, she spears her immediately.
Oh, fuck.
Like even if she was gonna not do it by just leaving her to her own devices,
It's literally the definition of, well, now I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And like, I forgot the other person I was going to mention. Yeah, Astarion. Astarion really wants to take Cazador's place, but there's a part of him by that point in the story where he's got a bit more humanity thanks to his adventures with you. And you can tell because the persuasion check is stupidly easy. He doesn't actually want to go through it. He wants someone to tell him not to.
Yes.
But if you don't tell him not to, he just goes through it.
Yeah. I think, did I tell you that the first time I did it, everyone was dead apart from Jihad? Jaheira, and apparently Jaheira doesn't have enough agency to tell him to do it or not to do it, so he just left.
What do you mean he just left?
He treated it as impossible and just left the party, where he just goes, fuck everything and fuck you in particular.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, so I had to reload and do the fight again.
Oh, fuck that fight. We'll talk about that next time, I'm sure, but I fucking hated that fight. Anyway, is there anything else we need to talk about today? I think we're leaving most things for 3.2 and 3.3.
Yeah, so Wyrm Rock is something we're going to come back to because everything that happens there happens after you've triggered it, pretty much.
I also need to do more of the game because I've not done the thing underneath Wyrm Rock.
Yeah, use lightning on the torches to access it.
Oh, I didn't even know that. It's just I wanted to finish the game.
Yeah.
So my character with Will just didn't do that bit. My character who was a Dark Urge didn't have Will because he died in the grove.
Yeah. Oh boy, yeah. I got bollocked by Gale because apparently we cheated during the trials that happened between that. So yeah, that was fun. But yeah, that's about it for this. So we're getting to our final three from the beginning of Act 3. Do you have a favourite moment?
Yes, I think my favourite moment is, in fact, I'm not padding, the end of the Harper ambush, where we mentioned it already. The guy up top gives you and Jaheira loads of shit because the Harpers use his property and take his shit without really asking, but he gets on with it because he knows the Harpers are good people. When you come out and it's like only one Harper is left alive other than Jaheira, he immediately just goes, "Oh, I'll look after the boy."
Yeah. Oh, what a good guy.
Like showing his true colours of like, he needs to put up the tough guy act, but in reality he does actually care about the Harpers.
Yeah, good old dwarf dad.
Yeah. How about you?
Mine is, it's the clown and the stage part. It's the one thing that I've actively gone out of my way to reload and do with different characters just to see the dialogue.
Yeah,
and I think that speaks to it, that it's a scene that you want to see, and you want to see like every permutation of it to the best of your ability, and I think that's it speaks to it being a good scene.
Yeah, I just YouTubed that because I couldn't be asked, but I totally get the sentiment.
Yeah, totally. I've not done it with every character, but I have YouTubed the rest. But yeah, even then, the fact that you want to see it means that, yeah, it was well written. But we can't always talk about the best stuff. We sometimes have to talk about the not so good. Do you have a weakest link in Act 3, Part 1?
It's very empty.
I feels it. Yeah, I feels it.
Like, Baldur's Gate itself this is going to be a common theme, is actually quite empty. There's a lot of stuff to go on, but there's not something everywhere. Now, part of this is it's meant to simulate a city. There isn't something happening in every corner, but at the same time, it's a video game.
Yeah. Like, everything that's there has been something that's been put there and like expertly crafted, fully voice acted and everything, which means that there's a limit to what they can put in the amount of time that they've had. Absolutely.
I'm certainly not criticising the team. I think Larian have done a great job. I can't wait to see what they do with their next project. It's just, as a criticism, Rivington in particular, there's fuck all to do.
Yeah, there's, basically outside of the carnival, most of it can essentially be skipped.
Yeah.
Well, even the carnival can be skipped, it's just you shouldn't because it's cool.
Yeah, like, you don't get anything from the carnival. It's just a fun distraction.
Well, I get the spear, but yeah.
Okay, and I will probably also get the trident in future runs.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah. But what about you? Do you have a weakest link?
Pretty much the same. That like most of it can be skipped. And it's a shame because if you skip something in an earlier act, it's gone forever. But if you skip something here, it's just saved for later, and then it feels like it's a chore, a chore, or at best cleanup to come and do it later.
I feel you. I have never felt a compulsion to come back to Rivington after Enter Baldur's Gate 3 proper.
Pretty much, exactly. Yeah, like I think the only time I did was when I realised that I'd forgotten Shares's Caress, came back and talk to Raphael.
Oh yeah, you don't want to miss that.
No, you don't. But yeah, let's get into the cream of the crop of this. Do you have an MVP?
I'm going to give it to Jaheira.
Yeah, I can see that because most of her development is essentially that scene with the Harpers, really, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much, man. I adore Jaheira. I love her attitude. I love her design. I've got a thing for older women. Fucking sue me. But beyond that, she has so much dialogue in Rivington and Baldur's Gate that always just makes you chuckle.
Yeah. She's actually a really fun companion to a Dark Urge as well, if you manage to somehow get Jaheira as a Dark Urge.
I mean, it's not difficult, you just have to be doing a redemption run.
Yeah, or just make it an accident when Last Light gets destroyed.
Yeah, but doesn't she fucking hate you because she knows?
No. For me, it was I just didn't protect Isabel well enough when the raid happened.
Okay.
And then it really was an accident, so I could tell Jaheira about it and not be lying in any way.
If you say so.
So yeah, she joined me then.
Use whatever bullshit justification you want to, Rick, you murderer.
I wasn't intending to do that either. I just it just happened, and then I got the Slayer form.
Sure. But most importantly, I had the biggest smile on my face when she started to hint towards the fact that we might be getting Minsk, because I didn't know when I first played the game that we were getting Jaheira and Minsk. I didn't know we were going to get Minsk even after we had Jaheira.
Yeah.
So when she started
absolutely
hinting towards it near the end of Rivington, I just had a big fucking smile on my face, because I'm like, we're going to recruit Minsk? Great, he's crazy. I love him.
Yeah.
And here's the dumb thing, Rick. I'd never encountered Minsk before. The entirety of my knowledge of Minsk comes from Magic the Gathering cards and his dumb gimmick with Boo.
Yeah. Two of them. There's the Planeswalker one and there's the creature one. Both of them are good. And both of them make good commanders.
But yes, what about you? Who gets your MVP for basically Rivington?
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Gortash. Because he's sitting on top of all the machinations that are happening out here. And he's just got this smug shit-eating grin the entire time. He is essentially the final thing you do before leaving the crossing and entering the city proper. And he leaves the memorable mark on you that, yeah, you can work with the villain if you so choose.
Gortash is a very good use of lawful evil. Ketheric was also lawful evil, but a different flavour.
Yeah. Ketheric is one of those people who seems to have been on every point of the alignment compass at some point in his life.
Yeah.
Whereas Gortash appears to have always been a shit.
Yeah. But it makes sense with the upbringing we know he had, and yeah, we'll get to that at another time. I will say one thing that irks me a lot about Gortash is the amount of times the narrator and other characters call him a handsome young man, and then he looks like he's 50.
Yeah, he looks like a 50-year-old who went back to Hot Topic because he remembered that it was fun when he was 24.
Which, don't get me wrong, I appreciate that look, and I think it suits him. I just wish other people wouldn't say he looks like a young man, because he doesn't.
Yeah. A handsome younger man with an easy smile. Yeah, he don't look... I think they modelled him more after the age of his voice actor rather than trying to make him a 24-year-old.
Which isn't a problem. I fucking love it.
Yeah.
It's just so weird that no one acknowledges the fact he does not look like a young man.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's about it for today. If you liked the episode, you've got the comment section down below on YouTube. And if you're listening via one of the many audio platforms, you can instead send us an email, which will go to
nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com.
And yeah, if you made it this far, as always, you're our favourite people. And hopefully you've enjoyed this one because it's more Baldur's Gate. We always enjoy talking about Baldur's Gate. Stay tuned for the next two that are coming up at some point in the future.
Indeed, and if you listen to us again, you will have listened to us again.